Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history and sticks, that is. Sticks that have been forgotten or ones you haven't seen. Maybe the ones they used to use when you were a kid. These right here is Easton Carbon, Ultra Carbon. So they're just slightly different in design, but it's the same shaft. They just had a different colors. I bet you probably they came out different years. Maybe consecutively. Or maybe 3 years later, the same kind. So this one here, what they would do sometimes, they'd make, say, maybe X amount of shafts and they keep them blank. And then when they don't sell, they'll just next year put on a new label or logo. That's what they pretty much would do with something like this. This is not a top of the line shaft. This is a lower end shaft. It's called a composite. It's not a graphite. It has a lot of carbon in it. It's 100 flex. As you can see, the flex numbers are different. And the color here's are different. I actually like this one better than this one. It has a little more color to it. Let's see here, the number rating. Okay, this one's, see, 340. They're about the same. See, 6.5. About the same. These hold standard blades. So you'd buy a wood blade for this. Look at this. You can see it's almost splitting. Now, this was a problem with this kind of a shaft. Some of my students had these back in the day. A lot of kids had these in junior. It's kind of like the Easton Octane. It's just, if the blade didn't fit right, it would start splitting. So you'd really have to heat it up carefully. And that's what would happen. As you can see right there, it's cracking all the way through. And it's unfortunate because you'd buy it. Man, this one you probably would pay, I'm gonna take a guess. I think about like 30 bucks back in the day, not more. You wouldn't pay more than 30 bucks for one of these. And it has a wood plug. Came with this original wood plug. That's what it looks like. This is receipt. So it did have a warranty. And the thing about blades, sometimes they just didn't fit in some of the shafts. You'd have to like get a file and file them down. So you'd have to be handy to be able to fit them in or heat them up right. If you didn't heat them up correctly, it just wouldn't fit. You got to heat them up just right. And it takes like a science. You basically got to do many to get used to how much to heat them up. And just to never use a flame on this, you just have to get a heat gun. So as soon as graphite composites came out, forget about using a torch. You'd have to use a heat gun. Some people try to use a hair dryer, but it just doesn't get hot enough to melt the glue. But yeah, some of the wood blades were a pain because they'd come in too thick. It wouldn't fit in. So you'd have to like file the edges. And that's what I remember about sometimes putting a wood blade into a graphite shaft. That was a problem. And sometimes they wouldn't pop out. It was a lot of work to get one out. So you have to heat it up, but again, not heat it too hot where it's gonna break the shaft. And that was one issue that I hated about it. But other than that, these are not light, they're on the heavy side. And there definitely looks like a lot of fiberglass in there. Never used one of these myself, but I've seen a lot of kids use them back in the day. Thank you for watching my video.